Welcome to the Imperfect Dads Podcast. This is your host, Devin. We believe dads care deeply about their family and kids, but they don't always have a space to discuss what their life looks like. Our podcast is a space for dads to discuss the ups and downs of fatherhood and how they feel like they're holding it together or how they're not. Thank you for joining us for this episode. This podcast is part of the Never a Face Network. Make sure to follow them on Instagram or go to the website neverafacenetwork.com. On this episode, we have on Ben Mench-Thurlow. Ben's day job is booking bands when they go on tour, and he also produced the Emo Orchestra. Before the episode starts, I do want to give a warning or heads up for the episode. A lot of this episode is about Ben's experience with child loss. Ben's family had triplets, and 2 of them didn't make it home from the NICU. Ben was really candid and honest about what that experience was like, and shared his story because he knew other dads might be out there with a similar experience, and they feel alone, and he wants them to know that they aren't alone in it. Besides that, we talked about how he ended up in Nashville, becoming a booking agent for bands, creating the Emo Orchestra show with his daughter in mind, his daughter knowing more openers than headliners for concerts, balancing full-time work with fatherhood, the team who helps him with the Emo Orchestra, and crying watching his daughter graduate pre-K. For his journey with being a father, he talks about finding out they were going to have triplets, months in the NICU, losing 2 children, and how that experience stays with him to this day. Just like one more thing.
Dad, just start the episode.
Oh, my bad. Ben, welcome to an episode of the Imperfect Dads Podcast. I really appreciate you taking the time to do an episode.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. So I lived in Nashville for 18 years. We moved out to Denver in 2024. First question I want to ask you is, how'd you end up in Nashville? How do you like living in Nashville?
Yeah, I mean, I love it. I grew up in Vermont, went to school in Boston, moved to LA for music, and then had an opportunity to relocate to Nashville. It's like a great little mix between Boston and Vermont, I would say. Like, you know, I live out in East Nashville, so there's a nice community, a little separated from the city, but like still has like the not living in the middle of nowhere area. So I like it a lot.
Yeah. What's been your favorite restaurant to find so far in East Nashville?
Oh my God.
Yeah, man. It's the hardest question.
Yeah, there's so many that pop up all the time. I mean, like, one of my favorite spots to go is right around the corner from where I live is a bar called Schulman's, and they have the best $8 burger in town, I think, and cheap beer and cheap whiskey and great people. And it's like a bunch of like music people that go there, and a bunch of guys in like the heart of the world. So it's nice. And I can't think of one restaurant right now, but I'm like, I go there all the time.
I think because it used to be Southern Grist before it became Schulman's, didn't it?
Southern Grist, yeah.
Southern Grist, yeah.
Yep. And then and Southern Grist is now over
the Nations, right?
Yeah, that area. But it's great. Were you here when that flipped to Schulman's?
I was, yeah. Yep.
Okay.
I lived, whenever we moved, we were living next to like the zoo. So do you know like Dig Tai, in South Nashville?
Yeah.
Yep. So we live like back in those neighborhoods back there. So my sister lives in East, but like, going across the river, it's a whole thing. It's like, well, I could go over there or I could stay on the side of the river and I'll be fine.
Especially it's CMA Fest right now too, at the time of filming this. And it is like, I'm staying here in my little bubble and I am not going anywhere near downtown.
Yep, pretty much.
Although having said that, I will probably take my kiddo from gymnastics to go see some shows at CMA Fest today. So I will say,
nice. Yeah. So I know you have more. Yeah, I know you have more of like a hardcore background and everything for music style. How's it feel like being in Music City with like all the country and all that?
It's definitely still a very country driven city, but there have been pockets popping up. Like there's like an underground hardcore scene now. I mean, it doesn't feel like it's overrun by like country music. It's overrun by like woo girls and like bachelorette parties. Yeah. That's what it's overrun by.
Pretty much. So. And watching that change, because like when I moved there like in 2006 to go to Belmont, like Broadway, there weren't celebrity bars. It was like just random small businesses. And now it's like Jelly Roll's bar, Kid Rock's bar. When I moved there, you could park on Broadway and like go into a bar and watch some music, then get back in your car and leave. And that's not reality anymore.
I will say like every now and then, if I'm like near that area, I will go. The only one I would go to willingly is Robert's Western World.
Yep.
And you go in through the back and you sit up top and you get what is it, the depression special, whatever,
Yes.
like 5 below sandwich PBR, and just be like, I'm one with the locals here, then I'm out.
Yep. I think, I mean, of course, Jason Isbell writing a song about driving to Roberts kind of hopefully, gets it some more notoriety. But yeah, Roberts Western World was, if I was ever on Broadway, it was like, I can go here. This will be fine. This will be good.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. What do you do for a career? What do you do for a job these days?
So I'm an agent. I've been an agent for 13 years.
Mm-hmm.
So I started booking bands in high school, actually. My brother and I were, it's funny, like when I tell the story, it's always got a bit of a humorous twist to it, because when I started booking like the band that my brother and I were in high school. And like we needed shows. I was the one who was like, okay, well, no one else wants to do it. I'll just do it.
Yeah.
And then things went south between us. They ended up getting like a drummer to record like drums on this EP that we were working on, and like didn't tell me that I found out, and it was like high school drama. I was like, fuck you guys.
Yeah.
I'm going to go book all of our friends' bands. So I started booking bands out of spite.
That's awesome.
And, and then I ended up, fast forward all these years later, making a career out of like just doing it out of like pure hate at the time. But went to ended up getting accepted to Berklee College of Music in Boston. Had a degree in music business, and during that time too, I just sort of like hustled my way through Berklee, both like booking bands and managing bands, and I was sort of in and out playing in a band at the time, and I had like a van and trailer, and so I had like flyers all over Berkeley. So it was like $40. Like I'll drive you to shows. It's $40 per show plus gas.
Yeah.
So I just driving all these bands around like New England for like weekend shows, and ended up meeting a lot of like promoters and tour guys and this and that. And then I started like house shows in Boston, and doing MySpace pages, and like just always doing something for like beer and cigarette money, basically. From there, I got an internship at the agency group in London, working with a bunch of just phenomenal agents out there. Came back, finished Berklee, got an internship at the LA office of the agency group, which is now ETA. And then ended up with a full-time assistant gig at an agency called APA. Stayed there for a long time through COVID. Over the time, just, built up a roster of bands that are sort of in that alternative space: Hawthorne Heights, Anne Berlin, Emory, Norma Jean, Acceptance, the Early November, and then a handful of developing bands like Good Terms and Sludge Mob, Annie Flake, and yada, yada, yada. So, that sort of like brings us to today. I mean, I've been lucky enough to like have a career of booking emo bands.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. And do you do like the Emo Orchestra band, like the tour that just happened with the Spill Canvas?
Yeah. So I actually produced that show.
Oh,
so
cool.
I
Nice.
created the show. Yeah. So, my time when I was at APA working, with being on teams and working a roster of special attractions and theatricals and putting unique shows into theaters, and speaking with those buyers pretty frequently, they're always like, well, it's something new, it's something fresh, something that's going to bring a younger demographic. And over COVID, through a series of events that myself and Christian were going through at the time, I decided to just say F it and create the orchestra show. I just started putting pieces together, when I was feeling down, when I just needed something to do with my hands and my mind, because like even like 2021 agents, I mean, we weren't doing anything. Like we rescheduled a shitload of shows, and then we're all just sort of like, I guess we're just gonna wait and see, so it wasn't like a ton of stuff to do. So created the orchestra show as something to like, I mean, I really created it for Haven, our daughter, because I wanted to have her be able to go to a show of stuff that was that I grew up on, music that I grew up on while pairing it with something traditional like an orchestra, and add like an entire different sensory element to a concert. I mean, like a lot of kids that go to our shows, they've never seen an orchestra before. They've never seen like a violin on stage or a cello or a flute player, and that the whole, or one of the missions with that show is showing that the younger musician that no matter what instrument they play, it's not defined by the genre that was created. So you can rip an Escape the Fate solo on violin, or you can, play, or you can like riff to a My Chemical Romance on a clarinet. It's our way of just showcasing different instruments and inspiring the next generation of musicians. So.
Yeah. I remember like in the early aughts and everything, like Cursive is like my favorite band, or Tim Cash was like one of my favorite bands. And whenever they introduced the cello on the ugly organ, I was like, more than like Yellow Card having a violin, I remember being like, you can add cello to like metal songs? Like you can like riff with a cello, and being like, oh, I had a very small framework of what I thought this music could sound like. And now it's expanded and like just freaking awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, a lot of records too at that time. Story of the Year, Used. I mean, like all those bands had some sort of orchestral element, whether it be just like a quartet to like a full orchestra.
Yeah.
So like both those worlds pair really well together, and emo being like the first genre that we wanted to tackle, it worked so well. But we have like the idea is to basically continue the concept and do a punk version, to do a metal version, and have a presence in like those scenes as well.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's all an alternative scene, but there's different pockets.
Absolutely, yeah. And like I've talked to a couple of musicians who have been able to play with like orchestras, like Nashville Symphony, like in Indianapolis, people like and places like that. And like the wait list to do that level of this is like years. Like those people have to I remember talking to the Augustana, Dan Leas, and he was like, I would love to do it in the Nashville Symphony. I think it's like a 3-year wait period before they could even begin to have me on. So like you doing something like this, it's like, it is really cool to add a string section to music, and it changes so much about the song, but it keeps like the same identity at the same time. So like, that's a really cool way to explore how else a song can have life to it.
Yeah. I mean, it's like hearing for a lot of these songs, the setup is like our featured artist plays a handful of their songs, but they also cover songs from the rest of the genre. So Spilkin is playing My Cabinet Panic and yada. And it just adds this whole new like depth of the song. But like you're right. The way it was to do some of the symphony shows, it's long because, like doing the charts for those is like very complex. Thankfully we have a couple of very quick, just absolutely insane arrangers that we work with, and he can rip stuff up. And Evan Rogers, our arranger, he did Between the Buried and Me. He worked on that project for when they did the Royal Albert Hall. He's done Alter Bridge. He's worked on, I mean, you look him up. I mean, he's got an insane resume, and he turned 28 on our last tour. I mean, he's like insane. Just one of those people that like music just makes sense for them. Yeah. And just, he's just a great little English dude that I found him on the internet when I was putting the show together. It's great.
It's such a unique skill set also. Cause like even trying to write I have such like a simple mindset with writing music where I'm like, man, if I got the drums, bass, and guitar all to be in tune and in time with each other, then I did a successful job today. For someone to let's add a bassoon part, to know how to compose for so many different instruments. I'm just like, your brain is so much better than mine. I don't know how you do this at all.
I remember talking to Evan after the first round of arrangement. He did the first one at Hawthorne Heights, and he was explaining his process because he listens to the tone of the lead singers for every tour we bring, and he will because you got to create space because a lot of it's like that mid range. So you have to have that line of vocals, and then like these instruments have to be up here, and these instruments have to be out here, and then you've got loud drums, electric. You've got electric guitar, distorted guitar. You've got clean guitar. You've got screaming vocals. So you have all these elements, that make up this show and what it was hearing. So it's wild thing about it. And there's not a brain space that I have to even start to figure that out.
So. And I will tell you, if your front of house person ever quits on you for that tour, do not call me because I would have no idea how to mix all it. Because even just thinking of EQing that to make everyone have their own home and space, sonically, I'm like, you have to have you probably hired and found some very good people who could actually make this all sound good.
Yeah, our production designer's name is Evan McElhenney. Evan and I we worked in an audio company together in Vermont. Yeah. And over the years, we've stayed in touch. He's the monitor engineer for Styx and helped develop. Oh, cool. He and another guy developed the orchestra writer for Styx. Yeah. And so when I was working on the show, he was one of the first people that I called and was like, I have this show. I need a production writer to be able to sell it. Can you make something for me? I have no idea where to start. And we went through, and our show is so tight.
Yeah.
As far as the tech that we bring, everyone's on in-ears. We have specific pickups that all of our string instruments play. We have specific consoles. We have specific playback system. Like everything is like to a T.
That's cool.
And he designed the whole thing. So yes, I've been very lucky with this show specifically, and in life, I feel like too, to be able to surround myself with just very smart, competent people that just sort of all find their way in my life, and they all just slide in perfectly.
Yep. And real talk, man, that's not a guarantee. We've all worked jobs where it's like, how did this person end up here? Oh, all right, I'll figure it out. But okay, it'd be nicer if they weren't.
Yeah, exactly.
How's so if you do booking, if you do all the world that you do, how's your ability to sit still? Because most people I know who do as much as you just said you do, like whenever you have a spare moment, it's almost like, oh, I don't know what to do with this. How's your ability to sit still from time to time? It's hard. It's real hard.
It is so hard. I mean, like that's why I hate working from home, because it's like I'll without even realizing I'll be walking outside down my driveway and be like, how did I get here? Yeah. But even with the downtime, it's like, all right, there's something that I can be doing. And if I'm not doing something, I'm making a list of the things that need to be done. So it's hard. Vacations are difficult. Like I can't sit on the beach and just sit on the beach. No. I find that one of the so I would say it's challenging. I like to play video games, and when, the kid goes to bed, do that, and occasionally hang out with friends.
Yeah. So. I think we've gotten more into camping lately, because normally whenever you camp out here in Colorado, the campsites don't have cell phone service. So you have to actually be there. So it's like that level of disconnect is like, all right, if I have 1 bar of cell phone service, I'm going to look at my phone. And it's like, cool, you're in SOS mode. Stop it. You can't do that. Yeah.
And you can't do anything. You're just stuck.
Correct. Yep.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Yep. One of the hardest things about being a parent is your constant mental to-do list. Whenever your daughter is like, hey, play with me, and you mentally are somewhere else, are you able to all right, this change modes, let's be here for my daughter? Or are you also, are you kind of always mentally fighting against that?
I have gotten, I feel really good about it, especially over the past year. My brother called me one day, and I was talking to him about something similar, always being pulled away. And he's like, you got 18 summers. Don't forget that. You have 18 summers with her before, and maybe less if she doesn't want to have anything to do with you. And so when she starts to be like, can you play with me? I think that just rings in my head, and I'm like, yep, put my phone down, tune in as dad, whether it be on the playground, at home, and I had troubles with my dad later on in life, but early on in life, he was the dad, throwing the ball outside, doing something, going camping, riding bikes, doing all those things. Yeah. And I want to, and I have two other brothers, so it was just boys. Yeah. And, having her, I guess I want to make sure that she grows up, and at the end of the day, she's like, I had an awesome dad. Yeah. And so if that is as little as me just putting my phone down, because that email can wait at the end of the day, nobody, the music business is just built around ASAP, urgent, needs to happen now, call me back, blah, 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 blah. But at the end of the day, it's we fucking deal with shows. People go to these things with their disposable income. We're not curing cancer. We're not, there's not a car. I mean, maybe there's a car exploding somewhere, but there's not there's not something that can't wait 5 minutes. Yeah. So I have gotten really good at that. There are some times where I'm like, okay, this is an emergency. Give me a second. But yeah, I mean, when I pick her up from school, I'm I try to just tune right into dad mode. Cool. And it's hard, but there are also things too, and I'm sure you've had other guys too. It's there are ways of bringing her into my world, which is live music, and she loves going to shows, playing music, listening to music, even if it's the same fucking song 900 times. And I know all parents can relate with that. Oh yeah, but thankfully it's not Baby Shark or some shit. Yeah, it's something that somebody else put on, and it's usually a rock band. So even if I have to listen to it a bunch of times, at least there's a guitar in it.
Correct. No, it's difficult, man. Like, yeah, because I think it's hard to acknowledge that like whatever your phone has in it is like always insatiable. Like, it's not like you're going to answer one question on your phone or someone on the other end of that phone is going to be like, by the way, you're good now. I don't need you for a couple hours. It's always like, oh, and while I've got you. Oh, and while I've got you. So like,
one last thing.
Yeah, because that's how it always works. So it is interesting to learn the boundary of like, okay, do I have to put my phone physically in a separate room for me to not keep being magnetized back to it?
Yeah, exactly. Yep, exactly. And if I didn't need to be on social media, I would have cut that shit out a long time ago.
Pretty much. Once again, social media, always insatiable, no matter what. And there's always some new dopamine I get from it. Then my brain is like, but how do I get more of this? And you're like, none of this matters.
Right. Right, exactly.
It's great. And also, I'm sure like in relation to social media, like if you're planning tours and everything, like social media is where you usually promote it, I feel like. So you've got it's the like monster you got to deal with.
Yeah. And it's also like, you're even just being like facing the industry too. I feel like we're sort of like kind of evolving, like the industry side is sort of like evolving into like each person needs to have like, not needs, but it's like good to have like some sort of like presence. Like, look at all the shit like my bands are doing because other bands see that. It's like, I want to be on that. I want to do that. And, like clients want to be at the place that all their friends want to be at. Like they want to, when they're getting catering, they want to be like, oh yeah, we're doing all these things. We're up here, because bands are just, they're built on ego. They love to talk about stuff. And yeah. I don't remember where we're going with that whole conversation.
No, you're good.
Social media.
This family. Yeah, you're good. Yeah. Okay. Here's a good question for you then. So if you are booking the shows and everything, if you're trying to bring your daughter to a show, how do we convince bands that starting at 5 p.m. is okay so that we can bring kids to shows and not destroy bedtime routine? How do we make that a reality?
Okay. Anybody that goes to a show that I book will notice a change of set times because I like shows to be over by 10:30. Done. 10:30 is like, she will stay up till 10:30 if there's something to do. And once in a while, that's okay. They're kids. Yeah. Even if like, let them do it every now and then. So most of my shows, like headliners on by 9 or 9:15 and we're done by 10:30 and everyone gets to go home. So, but then you run into like restrictions of like, venue can't do doors before this time or show has to be before this time. And unless you want to, yeah. But yes, it is something to be thinking about, especially like not every show fits into the mold. Right. And so when you're looking at, when I'm building a tour and I'm building like what I think that run a show should look like and sending that for approval to my managers and being like, this is what I think we should do because I'm a fan of this band and this is how this is how to get me to a show. Yeah.
Yep. Well, like, cause if if I go to a show like out at Red Rocks or something like that, I feel like the headliner usually goes on at like 9:30 or 10. And then I'm like, oh, I'm not going to get home until midnight. Oh, now I'm going to be like, now I'm going to get like maybe 5 hours of sleep for tomorrow. Oh, I'm not going to be the best version of dad I can be tomorrow. All right. So you prepare for it, you deal with it, you drink the extra coffee. But like, man, like, I know like Dawes and Isbell are doing more shows where it's like an evening with, where like, it's just them. They go on at 8. They're done by like 9:30. And I'm like, oh, I could go to a concert like this, like every single night. That'd be great.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, my daughter has seen a lot of openers, not a lot of headliners. She's seen a lot of openers over the years. But I mean, music for her, like music is music for her right now, and the environment and the excitement and of seeing a show and the lights and the people moving on stage and the number of times like I've had her at like sound check for a band and she like storms the stage after they're done and just like plays with all their instruments.
Of course. Yep.
Hilarious.
I really like the thought of your daughter growing into like an A&R type person because she knows all the up and coming bands because she's only seen openers.
That is a hilarious thought. She just graduated pre-K a couple weeks ago and like we can swear on this, right? We can swear. I was a fucking mess.
Really?
And dude, I didn't even make it through the fucking opening remarks. I'm just like, and they sing and like dance along like 7 or 8 songs, and then there's like there's a slideshow, and I'm just like,
oh, destroyed,
like photos.
Destroyed.
And it's like each kid has their own section.
Yes.
And then at the end, all the kids are sitting on chairs on the stage, and the woman who runs her daycare and the school that she goes to brings each one up, and she's got like, oh, like so and so likes this and she likes this, and we've noticed that they do this. We think they're going to be a.
That's so awesome.
So my daughter was the last one up there, and so Haven goes up there, and she's like, Haven is always singing something, or she's playing air drums, or she's playing air guitar, or tapping, and we think she's going to be a rock star. And she said that. I'm just like, just thinking about it now.
Oh, that's so sweet.
So, yeah,
just destroyed. Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, I love the moments of like, hey, this acknowledge your kid's getting older and then gone to the next stage, but it also feels brutal at the same time. Like my oldest is in 5th grade, so she's about to start 5th grade, so I know then she'll go to middle school after that, and I'm already dreading the like graduation like ceremony because same. I'm just gonna sit there and being like, you're not allowed to be this old. You're not allowed to. You're not supposed to be this old yet. But also, I'm glad you're this old, and I'm proud of you. But also, you're not supposed to be this old at the same time.
Dude, I get that before pre-K, the week leading in. I'm like, I don't want you to go to kindergarten. I don't want you to grow up. And she's just like, Daddy, I'm still me. And I'm like, who the fuck taught you that? Who taught you that? God.
That's so sweet.
Like 5. She's 5.
Yeah.
Where did you come up with that?
Oh man,
I'm still me. I'm like,
I love that. That's so sweet. I love whenever your kids like I think the beauty of being around kids is they have such simple and pure intentions. And like then they do have moments like that. We're like, but Dad, I'm still gonna be me, even if I'm in pre-K. And you're just like, so you get it. I don't get it. You get it. I don't get it.
Exactly. Who helped you figure that out?
Who helped you figure it couldn't have been me because I'm not that mature. So it had to have been someone else. Also I know like if you want to like tell your birth story or how you came to be a father and everything, I wonder how that factors into that for you as well, because I know you have had child loss as well. So seeing your daughter get older, I'm sure is very compounded with your experience of being a dad.
Yeah. I don't mind telling the story. So Chris and I, it took a second to get pregnant. We ended up getting pregnant, and super exciting. And I will preface this by saying I've wanted to be a dad forever. Like it is like we got married. And I'm like, all right, let's do this. Like I am fucking stoked. Yeah. So we ended up waiting a couple of years, and I like remember going into like the first ultrasound, and I remember like the lady like starting to do it. She's like, "Oh, you guys are excited?" I'm like, yeah. And she's like, she's doing the thing. She's like, "Oh," and I'm like, "Oh, that's like a weird thing." I don't want to hear "oh." She's like, I'm going to ask you guys a question. And she's like still doing the thing. I'm like, okay. She's like, does multiples run in your family? And I'm like, no. And she's like, well, congratulations. You just went from a family of 2 to a family of 5. You're pregnant with triplets. And I'm like, what? Like damn near pass out on the floor.
Absolutely.
And just like, holy, like, because 3 was like the number that we were looking at. And, you know, that was like what our goal was. And walking out of there and being like, fuck, we did it in one shot. That's pretty cool. And, you know, we didn't do any,
like fertility, IVF.
We didn't do any fertility, IVF. Yeah, we didn't do any of that stuff. So, I mean, it was absolutely terrifying. They just kept saying, like, doctors kept being like, it's a high risk, yada, yada, yada. But we're like 1 month in, 2 months in, 3 months in. We're like, whoa, like, okay, like, are we out of the woods or whatever? And then 19 weeks, she starts having contractions, and we end up at the hospital. A whole series of events happen. She gives birth to our son at 19 weeks. Obviously, he doesn't survive. And that was like, I remember that night like vividly. So she has, you know, 2 other kids, and we chose not to find out the sex. So we know our son. And so we end up staying at the antepartum wing at St. Thomas here in Nashville. You know, like 19 weeks turns into 20 weeks, and 20 weeks turns into 21 weeks, and 21 weeks turns into 22 weeks. And we started getting these like mantras, like, you know, like 21 and 1 on to 2020, you know, 21 and 2. And we would just kind of keep saying that each night. And it was just like, I mean, and this is 2021. So it's like, we're coming out, it's still COVID, and you're wearing a mask every day in this fucking hospital for 6 weeks. And you're just like wishing something were to give, you know, like whichever direction that happens. And then 25 weeks on the dot. And she's in and out of labor every single day. It was like, I don't know what it's impossible for me to understand what she went through during that time. I know what I went through. And that was just like, I mean, to this day, it's like a very sensitive thing. And so 25 weeks on the dot, she gives birth to 2 girls. Kind of like being in and out of labor every single day. And then finally just like, it is coming and things are happening. So 2 twin girls, Wilder, and our son's name is Lennox. And we did like interesting names for all of them. So Lennox Jet, which is the tattoo of my left hand. And then Wilder Lake is my right hand. Wilder was 11 and a half inches. Haven was 10 inches. So Haven was our smallest of the 3.
Okay.
And they go straight to the NICU. And the doctors are like, we are going to do everything we can. Just know this is like really fucking early. And we're just like, okay. But, like we're, and then we stay in the hospital for another 3 days. And both of us are like, we got to get the fuck out of here. Like we are done being here. And going home was like, I think maybe one of the weirdest parts about that whole experience. Cause like you leave pregnant, you're supposed to come home with kids.
You are.
And you come home with no kids.
Yeah.
And, I've been with Hawthorne Heights for a really long time. I mean, sidebar for a second. I've been with Hawthorne Heights for a long time. And Matt, the bass player, lives in town here. And Matt and his wife, Leah, came over because we had like 3 cribs set up in a nursery. Yeah. And they came over and took down 2 of them for us. And, or maybe they took down all 3. I can't remember what they did, but they came in and like handled shit. And to this day, and I don't think I've told them enough, but like to the day, that was like one of the biggest things that anybody's done for us. Yep. Anyways, so Matt from Hawthorne Heights. Yeah. Okay. So back to the story. So they're in the NICU and every day is like, you learn so much from spending that much time in the NICU. And like, I feel like I could have like been a nurse at the end of it. And it's terrifying every day. Like you don't know if like something's going to happen while you're there or while you're out when you're gone from the door or when you walk out the door. And like, I remember like seeing some parents being like, oh, like, or like meeting new NICU parents for the first time. They're like, how long have you been here? It's like, oh, we've been here for 4 weeks or 5 weeks. And about a month and a half into the NICU stay, we get a call at 11 o'clock at night, and just as we were going to bed, and the doctors tell us that our daughter Wilder is in critical condition, that we need to come back to the hospital. So we're like, what the fuck? Like, I just remember saying like, what the fuck? Because Wilder she was bigger, she was more stable than Haven was, and we get there, and shortly, I don't know, 5-6 hours later, she ends up passing away. Yeah. So, writing, like signing, 2 birth certificates and 2 death certificates before you get to take home a kid is like a pretty wild thing. And also like having to like deal with the process that we went through with our son and this. And it was just also, like,
and if I'm not mistaken, like you still can't take Haven yet home either. So you still can't start the journey of parenting you expected. So like literally every part of this, just like, fuck, I don't know what I'm supposed to do.
And even at this point, like we held 2 kids before we held the living one. Yeah. And that's like insane. So, I mean, Haven she was 10 inches. She was like fucking this big.
Yeah, it's so small. That's like one hand. Yeah.
Yeah. And she was 14 ounces when she was born. And I think she went down to 16 ounces in a pound, by the way. I think she went down to like, I want to say like 11 ounces. And she was, because like, you're born and then they lose weight. It's terrifying, dude. Absolutely terrifying. And then like, you can do like, I don't want to any NICU parents. I don't want to like trigger them by saying the wrong thing, because there are certain things that happen in the NICU that it's like, I know if I got caught off guard from somebody saying this, and I would even maybe like even do like a little like precursor. Hey, there's NICU and lost in the story.
Yeah, well,
that's one. That's one thing that I definitely found through these years is like there's certain things I can't watch, and I wish someone would told me that they were going to talk about it before they did. Yeah. But anyway, so to sort of speed this along, so Haven ends up staying at the NICU for 170 days. Yeah. I went to the NICU. Kristen went to the NICU every single day. I went there 169 days. There was one day I couldn't bring myself to it. So she comes home on oxygen because her lungs are still developing. We find out she needs, like, a few weeks after being home, she's aspirating while she's drinking her bottle. So, like, she ends up getting an NG tube. She's on, like, a feeding tube, and it's a whole fucking thing. And so we've got tubes all fucking over this house, like an oxygen tube. And there's, like, this, and there's people coming in every day because you have, like, PT and OT to, like, make sure she's, like, developing okay. And, like, some days she's doing really good, and some days are like, oh, I'm kind of concerned now. Like, maybe she, like, maybe this is a sign of CP, or maybe this is a sign of this or a sign of that. And you're just like, every time just her heart just starts racing. It's like, and I remember at that point, I couldn't wait for the moment we were at now. Like, I couldn't wait for her to graduate kindergarten. And that's all I could think about. And, which, like, really fucked up my intro to parenthood. Cause you're just like, all I want to do is, like, love a kid that isn't, like, hooked up to tubes, or I don't have to like worry about, like, is her heart rate okay? Or is her oxygen stats, are those okay? Like, you just want none of that.
Yeah.
And but this is like, you are a parent, and the moment you get pregnant, like, you are signed up for whatever is about to come. Good, bad, ugly, great. That is part of the gig.
Yeah.
And, like, the unfortunate amount of, like, dads I didn't see in the NICU was, like, disheartening, but it was also like, I'm fucking here. I'm showing up for my kid. That's all I can worry about is what's happening in our thing. And so anyways, so she's on a she's on an NG tube, which is up her nose. It's a non-invasive thing. I mean, it's invasive as fuck because it, like, goes through your nose to your stomach.
As invasive as it can be. Yeah.
Yeah, not as invasive as a G tube, which is like the one that goes to your side. So she was doing feeding therapy because we're trying to get her to come off of this tube, because we did another swallow study, and it seemed like she was fine.
Yeah.
So, like, okay, let's get her off this tube. Let's get her eating food. And the sort of, like, protocol we were on for how much food she was supposed to be getting through the tube versus how much she was supposed to be eating. It's just sort of like, I kept saying, like, she is so small. We need to, like, trim back on, like, what's going in her nose, because you got to force her to eat at some point, right? We got to make that jump. And I would get in fights with the feeding therapist, being like, you got to change the protocol. Like, you have to change the, whatever the fuck it's called, like, what your order, like, you have to change the order.
Yeah.
And, no. Like, we think that maybe she needs a G tube. I'm like, fuck that. Like, this kid is proven to us she can swallow. Let's give her the chance. And I think, like, 2 days after I got a big argument with her feeding therapist, Haven woke up one day, just fucking yanked the thing out. We're like, let's see if this works. Let's just see if this thing works, and let's see if we can and then we never went back. And she rose to the occasion, and all of a sudden everything just started changing. Yeah. She started smiling and laughing and eating and all things. And that's like that was like, finally, I was like, holy shit, like, this is like one of those times, or this is like, we're starting to get into it. And actually really funny. I'm gonna pull up this picture, because I brought her to the very first Ohio's for Lovers Festival, and it was around this time she decided to yank this thing out of her nose, and this is like one of the first, like, pictures I have with her, and that's like us standing on the main stage at Ohio's for Lovers, in front of 6,000 people before Hall of Nights goes on, and that was like one of the first weekends. I'm like, okay, this is what it's supposed to feel like,
right? Yes,
after a year and a half of fucking
man.
shit.
Yes, dude.
So that's my story.
Casual.
Casual intro into fatherhood. Sorry, I know that took up like a lot of the time.
You know what? Thank you for being willing to talk to me about it. Thank you for being willing to share. My middle child had seizures whenever she was born, so we had to go. She was full term, everything. Just day 6 is a hereditary thing in which you have seizures, and I think it took us about a year. Like, there's such a cloud that comes over from that. I think it took us about a year before, like, anything felt normal, because it was our second kid. So our first kid, we were like, oh, we know this is supposed to look. We know this is supposed to go. And like around 1 year, we started like weaning her off medicines. Everything got a little bit different. How long do you feel like it took for you before like it started to feel normal?
Let's see here. That was September 10, 2022. She would have been a year and a half.
A year. Okay. Year and a half. Yeah.
And I don't think we were like even on the growth chart. Like she was just all the way down here and the lines are up here. But now we're like, like we celebrate the whatever wins we can get. And like recently
Yeah.
she's in like she like moved into like the 17th percentile for height. It's like, holy shit. Nobody like, we're doing it. We're doing the growth thing. I mean, weight, she's still in like the, I think 5th percentile or something like that, but we're on the fucking chart. And that's cool. That's like one thing that I learned is like, just take the wins. So she is smaller than the other 5-year-olds in her class, but she is just like a little whippersnapper, and she is insanely smart, and she's funny, and she has a great personality. She's kind to people. That's great. So
I think when you go into fatherhood, or parenting, no matter what your intro to it is, you have these moments where you expect it to look a certain way. And whenever it doesn't, you in real time have to figure out how to pivot and how to show up for your family in ways you never knew you were supposed to show up for your family. Because like, I doubt you ever expected to argue with a feeding specialist over if your kid was ready to eat or not. That nowhere in your fatherhood journey where you're like, you know what, I'm going to have to advocate for my child's ability to eat. That's what I'm going to do one of these days.
It's wild. Like, that is not, the stuff that we have to advocate for our kids is not, I feel like 99% of the time, it's not what we thought of that we would be doing in parenthood. And it's not like something that we're like trained on. It's just like, sometimes you just have a gut feeling about something, and that's that connection between your partner and your kid. That it just like something doesn't feel right. And that feeding thing was something that didn't feel right. And there was other times too, I'm like, this doesn't feel right. I think we should think about this for a second. But then there are some things where you're like, you have to take what somebody is telling you as like, okay, this is the right thing to do. Like she had ROP, retinopathy of prematurity, which is where like when kids get so much oxygen in the NICU, it can make the blood vessels behind the retina grow faster than the rest of the eye. No. And it can cause the retina to detach from the eye. Oh, and they came to us with a procedure that was still experimental, and like 300 kids before her had it. And it's a viral injection into her eye. And they're like, we are pretty sure this is going to work. And I'm like, oh my God, like, we think this is a really good idea. It was developed at Vanderbilt. And we're like, okay, let's do it. And they did it, and it fucking saved her eyesight. Dude. And crazy follow up to that, I was playing softball on like a pickup league, and I was throwing the ball with this woman, and we were talking back and forth, and she's telling me she worked in like children's medicine at Vanderbilt. And I was like, oh, like my daughter took this drug. It was developed by Vanderbilt. I think that department, the girl just like broke down. She's like, I fucking worked on that project. That's insane. God. Yeah. Oh, dude. So pretty wild shit, man. Yeah. I think becoming a dad also, like if you spend any time in a hospital because you've had complications of some sort, you learn so much about the human body that like you never anticipated to learn, where I'm sure you're just like, all this random shit, I'm sure. Where it's like, that's not how body's supposed to work, but here's what you can do. And you're just like, you got a master's degree, you got a crash course in your nursing degree, basically. Yes. Never do I want to go back there. No, ever. Yes. And I was like, and if anybody's ever been, anybody who's listening to this has ever spent time in the NICU, whether it be like a day or 170 days, like there are like the fucking hold music that that's on the phone when you call a NICU. Like I can't listen. If there's a company that has it, I'll hang the phone up. Yeah. Or if there's like a restaurant that uses the same soap, I won't go to the restaurant. Yeah. There's just things I can't do because it's still too raw and too harsh. And I've done the therapy shit, and I've done the this and the that's, and it's like, it just is one of those things that will just stick with us forever. And, but I will say, like, Haven is great. She knows about her two siblings. We talk about them not as often as probably we should, but she knows about them. She knows their names, and I'm sure she'll ask questions as she grows up, and we'll be there to answer them, because that's what we got to do. Yep. Because kids can read through that non-honesty bullshit. Oh, yeah, they see right through you. Yeah, they just sit there and they stare and you go, huh? And you're like, all right, you're right. Yeah, you got me. This is more, I don't want to get into it right now. I'm not in a place to talk about it. I know you're in a place to talk about it. I'm not, though. Also, dude, totally valid. Yeah, if I was with you out at a restaurant, you come out from the bathroom, you're like, so this hold music reminded me of one of the hardest year and a half I've ever lived in my life. You're like, oh, cool. I'll close up the check. Let's go get pizza. Let's go. I know where those restaurants are. Yeah. But I think that's real, man, because that's real life, though, because you do sometimes walk into somewhere and you're like, oh, shit, I'm mentally back here now. I can't stay in this mental space because nothing good's going to come out of this. Let's get out of here now. And that's real life, man. And it sucks, but also I get it. Yeah. Yep. And then, you know, dealing with all of that shit, I will say, like, I've, like, been lucky to have clients who did, understood what we were going through, but empathize and could see what we're going through, and were able to, like, be in the thick with us. And, like, the bands I've worked with over the years are just the nicest, best people. And especially the ones that were with me through that whole time. It was just like, it's like almost checking out for a year. It's like, and have your band stick with you through that entire thing. It's that's a lot, and I don't think that exists in a lot of other businesses, like,
I don't think so.
An accounting firm or a construction. Like, I was very lucky at that point in that sense.
Yeah.
So to bring it back to music.
Yeah. If I can ask, what was like finding, were you able to find like father community specifically through that journey? Or it was more just like people like the bass player from Hawthorne Heights, like helping you out by taking down cribs and stuff? Were you able to connect with other dads on any of this? Because that also seems like could be a very lonely fatherhood journey as well.
Yeah. It's kind of,
yeah, sorry.
I think it's triggered. No, that's okay. I think I'm trying to think of the dads that, like, well, let me back up. I think when you have stories like this, I think you find out that a lot of other people have some similar stories.
Yes.
And people will be like, oh, like, the conversation will start with, like, it's not as bad as what you went through, but we also, dealt with a miscarriage with this and that. I'm like, first of all, I'm going to stop you there. Loss is loss. Everybody experiences it differently. Like, we went through shit. I have no idea what you went through in yours. So let's not compare trauma, because that's unfair to both of us.
Yeah.
But I can't say that, like, I mean, like, there are a couple of dads that I know that had kids in the NICU, and over the course of a couple beers, we'll talk through some stuff that if we need to do that. But, like, I'm not really I'm not in, like, any, like, communities or groups or stuff like that like, I found helpful. But being around, great friends and doing the job is sort of what kind of has kept me going, and just being a dad and being able to show up and having the experiences of, like, dropping my daughter off at gymnastics camp, and watching her, flail around for an hour.
Yeah. Of course.
Yeah.
And there's a lot to community. There's a lot of elements to it. It doesn't necessarily have to be like, you've gone through something similar to me. It's more just like people who, you can talk to if you need to, I think is more important. I
could talk to Jack Daniels pretty daily.
Do you really?
That's a joke.
At night in a can, in a little bottle. Maybe there's some rocks involved. Maybe there's not.
Yes. Yeah. We got a good relationship going.
Yeah, that's good.
Within reason.
Within reason, Schulman's every night. Sincerely, like, I think, like, thank you for being willing to tell me. My hope was that you'd feel comfortable enough to tell me that story, because I know dads have gone through similar things and dads don't get a chance to talk about it. And here you are, like, not on the other side of it, but, like, here you are on your journey where you're able to watch your daughter get ready for kindergarten, get ready to move on the next phases of life and experience that joy while also holding the heartbreak that you still live with every day.
Yeah. I also think too, like, for whatever reason, like, people don't want to talk about loss, and they don't want to talk about going to therapy, and they don't want to talk about these things that are part of who we are and make up us as individuals and people. And I think that my hope, and it seems that some of the cracks are finally are getting bigger, but like, people go through loss all the time, and I wish dads and parents would feel more comfortable talking about it, because talking about the shit makes it feel better. The saying the story over and over again. Like, I used to never be able. 2 years ago, I would never have been able to tell that story, but I've told it enough times now where I'm like, okay, I can get through the facts of this thing. Like, I remember what happened. I know how I felt in those moments, and like, if there's a dad struggling or there's a parent struggling through a similar situation, like, if my story can help a little bit, that's great, even if we don't know each other. Because that's also, to go back to music, that's, like, one of my favorite parts about music too, is, like, my favorite part of this job is creating moments for people. So, like, nobody watching this band that I book has any idea I exist. They only know buying a ticket, going to the show, having fun, going home. But for me, like, I have created a moment in time where maybe someone is going to that show and they just went through a loss. Maybe they just had a miscarriage that night. Maybe they met their future wife or partner there, or maybe they broke up with their current partner at that show, like, and for me to be able to have, like, by association, have, like, be part of that moment with all these people, like, to me, that's really special. Like, my life is connected to so many other people. They don't even know it. And I don't know. I don't know who the fuck they are. But that's like we're having impact on people. And I just like to, at some point leave this world knowing that, like, I did something to impact someone else's life.
Yep. Totally get it. I personally believe that, like, I make lighthearted of a lot of things, or I joke about all this stuff. And if there's something that's happened in my life, I'm not willing to, like, crack jokes at myself about. That to me is the sign of, like, oh, I still got some processing to do. Like, there's still a really big wound here. So, like, if you've gone from, like, I'm never talking about that again, to now being like, man, this is part of my story, it's part of my journey. I should learn how to talk about this. And it's an interesting metric of growth of, like, are you willing to talk about this? Hell no, never. Okay, cool. We'll get there one day. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. Yep. But again, like, the talking about stuff to normalize, not normalize, but just to, I don't know. I feel like every time you talk about something that has to do with, like, pain and suffering or whatever, it's like, it helps that scab get a little bit bigger. Like, it's always going to be there. There's always going to be a scar. There's always going to be a scab or whatever, but it, like, helps strengthen that part of you a little bit more. It does. To talk about it, because if you just leave that shit as, like, an open bleeding wound, you're never going to heal, and that's how you go down deep dark holes.
Yep, correct. Then you hang out with Jack Daniels a little too much.
Yeah, exactly. And then you have an uncomfortable relationship.
Correct. Yes,
which is okay when you're not on parent duty every now and then.
Correct.
It's okay to go down there.
Yeah. But there's still, whenever it's similar going to concerts where you know you're going to stay up till late. It's like, okay, whenever I go to bed at 2 a.m. and my kid wakes up at 6 a.m., this is reality and this is what's going to happen. So not going to make it an everyday thing, but here we are today.
Exactly.
So how I end every episode is I ask every guest a series of 5 questions. They're kind of like lighthearted, icebreakery questions. And you have time to think about them. It's not rapid fire. Okay. The first question is, did you have any backup names for your kids? Like, do you remember what you almost named your children?
Oh man. I don't, that's a good question. There's a list probably somewhere.
Okay. It's a lot of trauma ago for you also. So that's also might be clouding your judgment a little bit.
Yeah, fair. I was, my last name is Mench-Thurlow, and it's a fucking washer machine of a last name.
Yes.
And so when we were coming up with names, we wanted to have a cool first name and a cool middle name, just in case they wanted to be a musician or do something in entertainment. They didn't have to use the fucking long ass last name. So Lennox Jet, Wilder Lake, and then Haven Gray is our surviving triplet. So, and it's Grey.
Nice.
So, and everybody knows it because whenever I'm mad, it's a Haven Gray. It's Haven Gray. It just rolls off the tongue.
Awesome.
HG. I can't remember any of the other names. But like when you're trying to come up with cool, unique names to counter your fucking what the fuck last name, because my parents hyphenated our my last name. So, So no, I don't have a good answer to that question. Sorry.
You're good, but still, you at least told the story of like trying to have rock star names and just accommodating for the hyphenated last name that they were going to get no matter what.
Yeah, exactly.
Haven's going to end up marrying someone with the last name like Jones. Like the most straightforward, boring last name ever, just to counteract.
Bring it on. Bring it on. Fuck this like hyphenated bullshit.
How dare they? Next question. Do you have a favorite TV or movie dad, or one that comes to mind whenever I say that?
I feel like 90% of the people I answer this are going to answer Bluey's dad.
Yeah, Bandit. Yeah, no, but also Bandit. You can't. No one can be Bandit. That's the other follow up for it as well.
Okay, all right, cool. I fucking love that show.
Yeah. Awesome.
Favorite dad TV show dad.
Like TV or movie dad, or what comes to mind besides Bandit?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I feel like this is probably another common one. Hank Hill.
Actually, not as common as you would think, but Hank Hill is an amazing answer. But hey, listen, if you need to talk propane, he's your man.
propane. Well, I watch a lot of fucking King of the Hill. It's like my
Okay.
like go to sleep, zone the fuck out one. I love that. I don't know if you watch Trailer Park Boys, but I've also been watching a lot of Trailer Park Boys, and Ricky, as much of a fuck up he is, like all he does is love his kid, and like all he eats from selling dope to fucking stealing shit, like it's all like for his kid.
For
and
the
like
kids.
Yeah, and it's like you pull apart all of this shit. Like there's a very simple like equation in his mind of like you just gotta do it for the kid. You know, they live in a shitty situation. He's got to do shitty things to make sure she's okay. Yeah, there's some questionable episodes here and there, but for the most part, you know,
I think King of the Hill is the ultimate. Like whenever I was a kid, it was so dry and so slow. I didn't like it at all. But now as an adult, I'm like, this show is genius. This show is so smart and so funny.
Yeah. I mean, like, it is funny in that, like, as far as like, and now I'm thinking about it, I'm not entirely sure he is the right dad that I would align with, but maybe Bob from Bob's Burgers too.
Bob's from Bob's Burgers is a solid answer. Yeah. Sarcastic, loves his kids, but also like it seems like they're in control more than he is at all times.
Yeah. But like Hank is like the you're gonna get like the inevitable. You're gonna be embarrassed by your kid is like. He takes that to an extreme, but it's just like you love your kid for everything they do, but there are some things you look at and you're like, what the fuck are you doing?
Who
you know? I know that's going to continue through life.
Yeah, well,
but I don't know. Anyways, a mixture of those. Bandit rules though.
Bandit's the best. I'll tell you this advice that someone told me once. Just remember that a Bluey episode is only 8 minutes. So Bandit's a great dad for 8 minutes. You don't know what the rest of the day is like. You don't know what else goes on during that day. So just know you can also be a phenomenal dad for 8 minutes. Like
he's actually a raging alcoholic.
He's like it's just Bandit. Like it's past 9 p.m. He's like, go the fuck to sleep, kids. It's just him drinking Jack Daniels by himself. Or Foster's. Exactly. He'd be drinking Foster's. Sorry, let me make that more culturally appropriate.
Yes.
Next question. You probably don't have one, but I'm interested to hear what you say. What's like your go-to replacement curse word? Or do you just curse around Haven?
No. Okay, so here's our theory about that. So we are swear positive in that within like the house, right? Yeah. So you stub your toe, it feels better to just go, fuck.
Yeah.
You know, or like, shit, that thing like I didn't do the same shit. It just feels better sometimes to say that. But the rule is you can't use that as a weapon.
Yeah.
You can't say you piece of shit, you fucking idiot, yada, yada, yada. And there are, cause like the theory is like, there are words that are bad. Like there are words that are bad and words that are hurtful. And we just shouldn't say those words that are hurtful to others. And some words people find offensive. So we also need to be respectful of other people while also understanding that we can't control emotions.
Yeah.
I'm not going to explain this to my 5-year-old, right? But cause she's this, it's not going to go, it's going to go way over her head. But, you know, like we go to a lot of shows, we listen to music all the time. There are things that people say in those that you hear swear words all the time. So if it's in the song, there are caveats to this, right? But if it's in the song, like you can say it, like, because it just makes you feel better. It makes you sing harder the song. It makes you feel something. And those artists who made that are hoping that you feel something.
Yeah.
So, and if it's a fuck here or there or shit. But I will say, like, for the most part, fuck is replaced by crush in this house.
Crush?
Because fuck, crush. What the crush?
What the crush? Nice.
Yep. Yeah. I remember like Chris one day was like, she was like, oh, what the crush in front of Haven. And Haven goes, you don't say what the crush, you say what the fuck. I'm like, God damn it.
Oh, there's so many hilarious ways your children will correct you. And that is a new one that I've not heard before.
You don't say what the crush, you say what the fuck.
Next question. What's like one of your favorite toys or activities to play with Haven?
That's a good one. I love going for walks. And like going to the playground. I love watching her like play with like play and interact with other kids. She's so good at just like making friends.
Yeah.
And actually I've become really close with another dad because she went up to this random little girl at the Adventure Science Center here in Nashville and just goes up to her. We had been there for maybe 30 seconds and she goes, do you want to be my best friend? And the little girl's like,
it's so
yup.
sweet.
And they just fucking took off and ran around and like went to her dad. I'm like, hey man, I'm Ben. Hey, my name's Trevor. And we've just been close homies since then. And it was just such a fun, cool little organic relationship that happened. I love taking her to places to experience stuff. I fucking hate the TV. The TV has its place. The screens have their place and whatever. But like, took her to Chattanooga last weekend. We did the aquarium. And we did the adventure center down there.
This is awesome.
Yeah. She's great at traveling on planes. I love taking her to shows. So as far as like a specific thing,
no, that's good.
Not really, but like the playground and being outside. Because growing up, I was always outside. So
yeah. Do you ever wish? I wish that like I'm almost 40. I wish that like in the next decade of life, I should just start more friendships like that. Be like, what's your favorite color? We got the same favorite color? Ride or die. Let's do this.
Best friend. Let's go.
I don't think it works that way. Sadly, it's not that simple.
You know, I met a buddy in LA who was still who actually his family just moved down here a few years ago. But it started like I was at a bar by myself. I was living in LA for like 2 weeks.
Yeah,
and I was at this bar called the Burgundy Room, one of my favorite bars in the country.
Mm-hmm.
And I was sitting outside having a smoke and drinking a beer, and this dude comes up to me and he's like, I think I had like a carabiner with like keys and like drum key and shit like that on it, and he's like, what are you, a fucking drummer? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, what are you, a fucking guitar player? He's like, yeah. And I'm like, you want to be friends? And then we've been best buds ever since. That's the one and only time I picked a guy up at a bar.
That's amazing. I knew a guy in college, or I knew 2 guys in college where how they became friends was in 6th grade. They're like, do you play guitar? Yeah, I play guitar. Do you listen to Creed? Yeah, I listen to Creed. They've been friends ever since.
Oh my God.
So
Creed is awesome.
We just need to simplify what makes us best friends.
I feel like men are good at that though. Like when we can tune into that part of our brain of like wanting to make a new friend, we can go up to a random dude and like find something in common and then make the effort to be friends with that person. Yeah. That's maybe that's just like a dude thing, but
I'm with you. Yeah. I feel like I'll have like tons of like friends. We're like, why are you friends with this? The guy's like, oh, we both think pie is better than cake sometimes. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah. That's great.
Very simple very simple creatures we are.
Very simple. And then
we need very few things.
Yes. Last question is, what is your least favorite kids show or movie? Like something if Haven wants to watch it, you're just like, fuck this. God. I hate this.
Oh, I got a list of that. Anything fucking Cocomelon.
Oh, anything that is like number 1 or 2.
Number fucking 1. Anything in that realm of like baby shit.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel really bad actually about this, but like I was like, this is like I tried to put on something like that one day, and I was like, we're not watching this. This is for babies. And she was a Chris, and she's like, Daddy said I can't watch this anymore because this show's for babies, but I really like it. And I'm like,
damn it.
Fuck. Now I feel bad.
Damn it.
Now I feel bad. How did she turn this around on me?
Yep.
How the fuck did that happen?
Yeah.
But there's not really much else that she there are like a couple songs that I'm like, holy shit. Like that chicken macaroni song, whatever the fuck it's called.
Do you mean chicken banana?
Yeah.
Chicken banana.
Chicken
for like 10 minutes. Yeah, no, it's great. Yeah.
Oh wait, no, it's not that. No, it's chicken macaroni. What the fuck is it called?
Chicken wing. Hot
That's
dog macaroni.
Yeah.
Chilling.
Oh my God. Dude.
Oh yeah.
I hate that song. That and God, I can't remember. There's a couple on my shit list for fucking songs, but yeah, any like the baby shit, I can't do that.
Yeah.
But movies like I try to get her like really into like the classic Disney movies. Doesn't fucking care about it. And I'm like, but this is classic. She sort of got into Cinderella, but she also has like a low fear tolerance, like scary tolerance. So, and I love horror movies. So I'm like, come here, come watch this horror movie with Dad at.
Yeah, that's fine.
And she's like,
that's right.
What the fuck?
Let's watch a Critters movie. They're cute. Yeah. They're beautiful. Yeah. Let's watch this.
Have you ever seen Terrifier, Haven?
Oh God.
He's a clown.
It'll be great. Yeah, exactly.
It's a clown.
Yeah. Well, at least you'll know what therapy you're paying for later on in life. Yeah. You know?
Yeah. No, I'm saving for it. I got the separate account.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Cocomelon is like always, that or Caillou is like number 1. Because Cocomelon is so much like you look at it and you're like, none of this seems healthy. Like I feel like I'm damaging my child.
It's the same fucking song. There's like 3 songs in the entire thing and just different lyrics.
Yep, pretty much. It's awful.
Oh my God. It's awful. And it's like some dude with like a basic 3D program thing created it. It's like, oh my God. Oh, and Blippi. I fucking hate Blippi. I hate Blippi. If you've never done it before, by the way.
I've never done it. We've avoided it. We've avoided Blippi.
You know what Blippi is, though?
Oh, I'm familiar.
Do yourself a favor. Look up Blippi Harlem Shake and watch that video, because it is, if anybody knew, like, I feel like there was a time where parents were like, oh, we don't watch Blippi anymore because of this video.
Yeah.
I feel like new parents, maybe this has gone over their head, but like, look up that video.
Okay.
That dude, like, it's fucking, I'm not even going to spoil it. Just go look up Blippi Harlem Shake.
I'll look up that. Yeah. Okay, cool. And there's also like 3 iterations of Blippi. I think we're on like Blippi number 3 now, because Blippi is like a character, not a person.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good.
No, Mr. Rogers has made its way into like our watching now, which is great. And actually, like Francois Clemens, officer, the black officer that was on the show, like he taught at Middlebury College, which is where I went to high school, and met him a couple times, and just like got like the real lowdown on Mr. Rogers, and he was like, you'll never meet a nice person in your entire life. Yeah. And I remember like talking a lot about that guy, just like, like there is a guy, like I feel like child development right now is all bells and whistles. Mm-hmm. And Fred Rogers was like, here's the basic steps on like how to make sure your kid's a good person, and how to make sure that they feel that you're listening to them, and like they're not complex, they're very simple people, you know. You just got, so that person gave a shit about that stuff. So
he gave a shit about it, and he I would imagine if you ever had a conversation with Fred Rogers, it probably felt like he was there for every word of the sentence, and that's not something I can guarantee to my own family every time I talk.
Yeah, exactly.
And then last thing for you is just like moment for self-promotion. Like, I know you said you don't like social media that much, but like if we follow you on social media, bands, blah, 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 all that stuff, do some promoting.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, I definitely like want people to follow me. I just don't want to follow that.
You followed me back, so I feel special now.
You count. Yeah. I don't do that to many people.
Thank you.
The Emo Orchestra show, we're working on we're rolling out a fall tour soon. You know, my roster is, Hawthorne, like I said, Hawthorne Heights, Amberlin, Acceptance. I'm going to just read it, because if I don't read this, I'm going to miss somebody, and then I'll get a text from some band like, you forgot to talk about me. Amberlin, Emory, Emo Orchestra, Flake, Good Terms, Hawthorne Heights, Horse the Band, Lost Souls, Mariachi El Bronx, Norma Jean, Punk Rock Factory, Shia Lude, Sludge Mother, the early November, and I have a great developing artist at Nashville called Tori Grace. So those those are the bands I work on every day, and God, I don't really think I have any other shout outs.
I mean, that's a lot. That was a 10 list shout out, man. That's pretty solid.
It's busy. It's busy. It's a busy lifestyle. You know, like, last thing I'll say in the music world is like, continue to support local venues. Go to shows. Go to shows where you don't know one band on the bill, especially if it's like a $10 show. What are you going to spend that $10 on? You know, like, you're going to sit at a bar and talk with the same people you've been talking to, or you're going to go to see bands you've never seen before and maybe find a new favorite band. Go do that.
Yeah. Cool.
That's how we keep small businesses in play, and or small businesses in business, and continue to grow and develop local music. Yeah,
I'm with you. Sincerely, thank you for sharing your story with me. Thanks for taking the time to talk to me about your journey with fatherhood.
Cool. Yeah, thanks for having me, man. This has been a lot of fun. It was a wild. It was a little bit of a I don't even know the word to use, and it was interesting to talk through that story.
Yeah.
So thank you for giving me a space to do that.
Yeah, man. Thank you. I appreciate it. If you're ever out in the Denver area, let me know. Happy to meet up, say hi. Every once in a while end up back up in Nashville. So I'll hit you up if I'm back there anytime soon.
Yeah, please do.
Appreciate it, man.
Right,
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you so much for listening to the episode. Make sure to follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at the Imperfect Dads Podcast. And make sure to give us 5 stars wherever you listen to us. Music, editing, and production is all done by me. Make sure to tune in on Mondays and most Thursdays for new episodes. This podcast is part of the Never Effaced Network. Make sure to go to nevereffacednetwork.com to learn more about them.